everyone, it's Lucy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I make my own adobo seasonings, both wet and dry kind. So in every Puerto Rican's home, you will see adobo seasoning, either Goya or some other brand, right? These, my mom gave them to me. They were in her pantry, but since I take care of her meals, she had no use for them, so she gave them to me, and instead of throwing them away, I kept them and I use them in a pinch when I don't have time or have ran out of my own homemade adobo seasonings. It's really easy to make, and the reason that I like making my own is because of the sodium content in these already store-bought adobo seasonings. It's ridiculous, let me tell you. So, and this isn't for comic relief. Mama's really blind. I'm going to use my little trusty magnifying glass. In the regular original adobo, for a 1/4 teaspoon, it has 520 milligrams of sodium. That's a lot, people. For a 1/4 teaspoon, which isn't a lot, when we're going to season beans and rice, that's a lot of sodium. And if you buy the light version, which has 50% less sodium, I know this by heart, it only has 260, but it's still a lot for a 1/4 teaspoon, right? It seems like in that 1/4 teaspoon, you're getting more sodium than you are all of the other spices that we're really looking for, right? So that's majorly the reason why I make my own, because I want to have control of the sodium that I put in the food that I'm preparing for my family, because there is high blood pressure, hypertension. My husband just got diagnosed with it last year. I'm trying to avoid getting hypertension, although I hope genetically it won't catch up with me. And my parents, who I actually prep their meals, have a hypertension. So it's very important to, reduce that sodium in, our preparation of food. So again, I want to do a disclaimer. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just showing you what I do and how I prep and season the foods for my family. So this is very easy. For the wet ingredients, it's 6, well, you know what? Originally, for one batch of it, it's 6 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of oregano, crushed oregano, a teaspoon of turmeric, a teaspoon of red vinegar, 12 peppercorns, and 6 garlic cloves, right? But since I'm making double batch, just double everything. And then of course my trusty food processors. Now let me tell you how I came about the wet version of the adobo seasoning. My mom had actually purchased this book called Latin Fusion Recipe Deck. Right there, she bought this, oh my God, years ago, before I even thought about moving to Puerto Rico, in Marshalls. And it's really cool because it's like a deck of recipe cards. Here we go. I apologize for the music, along with, of course, the roosters and the chickens cackling out there, because, that's how we do here in Puerto Rico. And so, back to the book. Here we have, what you gonna do? I'm sorry for that. But in the Latin Fusion cookbook, right? We have, it's really cool because they give you Mexican, oh my God, really, people? All right, they give you Mexican recipes, Cuban recipes, Brazilian recipes, Puerto Rican recipes, and Central America recipes. But I actually put a clip here for the adobo with sazon. So I came across this one day because I was cooking and I ran out of adobo season. This is way before I started making my own. And then I said, what am I going to do, right? I mean, how difficult can it be? And so I remembered that my mom was going through this book and it had an adobo seasoning recipe. But it was the wet version, what I'm going to show you how to make now. And I made it and it was delicious. I mean, the aroma, it was delicious. I used it to marinate the meat. It was something that I knew was going to be my go-to every single time. Like, that was it, right? So when the time came that I needed another batch, I went ahead and I made it and I tasted it. I was like, what the? It was so salty. And I said to my mom, Mom, what happened? I mean, it doesn't taste the same as the first one. She says, when you read it the first time, you realize this really asks for a lot of salt. And so you must have added the salt because you was in a hurry, and this is why it's so salty. People, I kid you not. This recipe here, which is really this one, I'm just doubling it, but I'm not adding the salt at all. Neither am I adding the salt with my dry seasoning. Asks for 3 tablespoons. Look, right there. I don't know if you can see that well. 3 tablespoons of salt. What in the salt heavens? No, ma'am. That was way too much. I threw it out. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. So after that, I decided to make it without the salt. And I like to put the salt that I want to use in my seasoning when I'm seasoning my food. Because you really want to get the taste and flavor of these other lovely spices that, you know, are combined to make the adobo seasoning anyways. So, enough talking, let's get into the food blender here. So I got my trusty Ninja, and to that I'm going to add my virgin olive oil right into that. Now remember I said I doubled this recipe because I use it a lot, so I just double it. So we got that. I'm going to use my red wine vinegar. If you like, you can also use lemon, but I don't have any. And so I normally just use vinegar anyways. We're going to add my cloves of garlic here. I got 12. And I'm going to add 24 peppercorns. I don't add any more than that because the peppercorns are really spicy and has some heat to it, and my husband doesn't really care for spicy food like that. And I'm adding a tablespoon of turmeric, and of course I'm going to put the recipe on the description below, so for those who are interested, the recipe will be there. And I'm adding 4 tablespoons of crushed oregano to this as well. I know it sounds like a lot of oregano, but trust me, this is delicious. Try to get the last of this olive oil in there. And then here we go. Put that there, make sure everything's plugged in and ready to go. Power, and let's start mixing. This is what we're going to talk to. And I want to mix it until everything is pretty much creamy consistency, right? Like I don't want a lot of chunks of garlic, big chunks of garlic. This Ninja works really good. I'm not sponsored, but it works really, really good. Get those peppercorns crushed really good too. So let's take a peek and see if this is the consistency that I want it to be. I'm gonna zap it one more time because it's looking like this, which is fine, but I want it a little more minced than that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the top back on. I have my container where I keep it at. Ready to go. All right now. Let's see. Yep, this is about the consistency that I like. Let me go ahead and put that there. And take that out. This is so, oh my God. Oh. Geez, this smells so good. I'm gonna be making my mom a hamburger. She's been dying for one. And so I'm going to use some of this to marinate that burger for her. There we go. And so, oh, such a lovely consistency. Man, and it smells so good. I wish you guys could smell this. There we go. We're just going to pour it right in here. And a little goes a long way. Let me tell you. A little goes a long, long way. Well, let me see if I can get all of this because we cannot waste this goodness here. There we go. Scoop that all out of there as much as possible. Here we go. Just put it right in there. This is just so easy to make. I mean, why wouldn't you want to make your own, right? Save money. I always have these ingredients in the house. And you can also tweak it. I mean, like I said, the basic ingredients to an adobo really is pepper, garlic, oregano, turmeric, and salt. But some folks like putting coriander, thyme, sage. I mean, to each their own, whatever flavor they're after, you can go right ahead and just add it. I like to keep it basic because I really love that garlic to come through. So here we have, this makes about a cup, a little more than a cup because this is a pretty big little container here. So this is what it looks like. Look at that. And that color, oh my goodness, it's beautiful. And then I'm gonna really take that all out, but I wanna taste it. That is spot on. That garlic, that oregano, what? Refrigerate this. This keeps for until you finish it, because I mean, we use it every single day. So, you know, I really couldn't tell you how long it lasts, but it does last because it is, remember, it has 6 tablespoons of olive oil. And so, the only thing I won't add this to is my beans because I don't want olive oil in my beans. But like stews where you're going to like saute vegetables or the meat anyways, you can go ahead and use that about, you know, a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, whatever you like. And just add your salt, the amount of salt that you want. So this way you're getting the benefit of all of the flavors of your spices and adding the salt that you need in order to bring out those flavors, right? And so we'll put this over here. Now, let's go to the dry adobo seasoning. Again, super easy. What I have here is, and I'm making only one batch, right? What I have here is a teaspoon of black pepper. I have a tablespoon of onion powder. This is the only thing with my dry adobo seasoning. I do add a tablespoon of onion powder because I like that combination. I have a tablespoon of garlic powder, and it's powder, not salt. Don't make that mistake because I did one time and that wasn't very good. And I have here a teaspoon of turmeric, and I have a half a teaspoon of the dry oregano. Now, for those, if you don't know, you don't want to use, if a recipe calls for, like, let's say a tablespoon of crushed oregano, you don't want to use a tablespoon of dry oregano. That would be just like way too much. The ratios is like a tablespoon of crushed oregano is 1 teaspoon of dry oregano. And in this case, I'm just doing a half a teaspoon of the dry oregano because this can be potent and you don't want to make that mistake. So I have my little container here, you see? And so if you're gonna use the crushed, you can use like a coffee grinder to grind it all out and make it into a powder. But if not, you know, take the easy route, use the dry oregano and just, you know, make sure you do the correct ratio, dry to crushed. And just add everything in there. That's it, just add it all in there. Oh, come on. Use my fingers here. There we go. And last but not least, the pepper. And then let me put the, there's so much moisture in the air that it literally cakes the spices. It's another reason why I make my own here, because living in Puerto Rico, let me tell you, it is so humid that your spices turn hard and you have to just like throw them away and start again, because I don't have time to be regrinding them and whatnot. So this is more economical, easier, and once it's all in there, just have at it. Just shake that bad boy. You see? Shake that bad boy till it's all nice and mixed. So this is what that looks like right there, which is not much different than that. The only thing is that this doesn't have the salt that this has. And so you'll be the judge of the salt that you want to put in your food and how you want to do that. So here you have it. You have the wet version of adobo seasoning, and you have the dry version. So try it at home. Easy to make. I'm pretty sure you already have those ingredients in your cupboard. And, you know, I'm not going to say that I don't use this. In a pinch, I would. But that's exactly what I'm going to be using, a pinch, because way too much salt in it. And so there you have it. And so I hope you tried this at home and enjoy it. And if you did and you liked it, drop me a comment below. I'd love to hear how you liked the adobo seasoning. And until the next one, right? Take care. God bless. And have a great day. Bye.